I mean, that's certainly something you reference. The playoff game. I mean, it was obviously at the end of last season, but two teams that have a lot of the same talent. And so it's we've got how many games they got? 7 games maybe we've watched. So anytime you've played a team in the last half season, you kind of always make sure you peek at that.
Usually the concept of like stacking wins being like in-season momentum, does that carry over week to week? If you start having a stretch where you're really successful, or do you kind of start fresh each week?
I think belief and energy is good, and that comes from winning, but that also comes from having the confidence and the preparation that you've had. So it's all tied together, and I think our confidence comes from we practiced really well last week. Our guys, I think, believed in what was going to happen. We have to make sure we do the same thing this week. And so you can't just subscribe to stacking wins and momentum if you're not willing to come out here on Wednesday and do all the things that we know are important. I think what is good is there's a lot of guys on this team who have experienced continued success before, and they know how hard it is. And so they're not going to be fooled by having a big road win and thinking, oh, we've arrived here in week 8, not even close. And so that is the benefit of having the team that we have is they know how hard it's going to be going forward to continue this, and I know that they're willing to put in the work for it.
Back in the very beginning of free agency, there were all moving pieces, and then you bring back Pratt. How big was that in the moment during that window to get that done and keep him in?
Yeah, I mean, he's a core part of this team, and he has been for 5 years now. And he's a guy that everybody loves. Everybody loves being around. He's made so many key plays. He's so consistent. He's so smart. And so that was a big deal, making sure he came back. I know he wanted to come back. We wanted him back. And it's one of those things that you just got to make work, and we did.
Y'all open the 21-day window for Charlie this week? Or?
Not yet. No. There's a chance next week, but not this week.
Zac, you had mentioned on Sunday after the game about this team and motivation and the 11-game home win streak for the Niners and then going back to the Bills playoff game. When there's a motivational piece like that for a game in a week, who's delivering that motivation? Is it you? Is it kind of spread out a little bit? Is it different voices altogether?
We have team meetings, that happen on Wednesday and Friday and Saturday night typically. So it can come from any group of people. Our coordinators present on Wednesday kind of what it's going to take to win the game. So sometimes there's things that pop up there. So it can vary throughout the week.
And then to follow up on that, are you always kind of looking for those little things, and are you sending that message out to start the week and start the conversation, or how does that go?
Anywhere. I'm not tied to it's got to be on Wednesday, it's got to be on Saturday. It's just I think when it feels most natural is when it happens. Sometimes there's great tidbits during the week, sometimes there's not. So I think that's one thing I've learned in 5 years is being able to evolve as the season goes, as the week goes, and not being just glued into a certain type of way of doing things every single week. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, how do you read a room? I mean, is that obviously one of your great strengths in reading a room? How has that evolved for you?
Yeah, that's a good. Do I do it well? I don't know. Some days I don't feel like it, but I think I've just learned through my own experiences. Whether it's an offensive install meeting, whether it's an offensive unit meeting, whether it's a team meeting, those are just things I think you've had to experience firsthand and learn and evolve. And I'm not a big get up there and give a long speech guy. That's not my strength. I think I'd put a lot of people to sleep pretty quickly. So I just try to be to the point, and if I don't have anything, I don't need to get up there and just hear myself talk. And so I know that's one thing I've learned in 5 years is when there's nothing to be said, don't manufacture something if it doesn't fit the moment.
How critical is a game against Buffalo when you're still looking for your first AFC win? It's hard to believe, but because of the stretch of the NFC games, it's a pretty critical game.
Yeah, I don't think we've thought about this AFC thing for 1 second. What we do know is that Buffalo is a really good team, and it's going to take our best. And it's certainly when you are playing AFC teams at this point going forward, there's significance there. We all know that. But to say that this is the first day, that doesn't really mean anything to us. It's just the next team that we need to go beat to further ourselves what we want to do.
When you potentially make the decision to activate or not activate a player like Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
how much is it health-wise? I'm sure that's the primary thing. But
That's secondary. It's the health thing, number one. Just making sure everything's good, and obviously there's a lot of pros and cons. If you have the 21-day window to make sure of that, and so we're in a spot where we felt like next week we'll further the discussion next week and decide for sure if we want to do that. Just decide to wait a week.
When the Bills have been good, they've been really good. When that offense is clicking, what stands out?
The chemistry. There's great chemistry in the guys that got in that room. I think Ken Dorsey does a great job. I got a lot of respect for him. Aaron Cromer, the line coach, I worked with him for 2 years. Ton of respect for him. So I know that they've got great coaching staff that puts them in a really good position. I know they've got tremendous players, and they got a great culture that the guys seem to believe in and bring to life. Really explosive. Obviously, it starts with the quarterback. He's so big and strong and can make all the throws and is fearless and can make plays with his feet that really are backbreaker plays. And then you add in all the skill players around it at receiver, at tight end, at back. They got good linemen. They do a really good job playing to those guys' strengths.
Everyone's been talking this year about Jamar's role and all the added responsibilities. A lot of that started in the playoffs last year in games like Buffalo. What did you learn about Jamar when the way he handled that led you guys wanting to kind of run with that, even expand that even more during the season?
Yeah, I think I felt like we were doing it earlier. There were things that we had. Maybe more of the backfield stuff. What was happening when we were getting ready for Buffalo the first time? We didn't use it the first time, but we used it in the playoff game. He's just capable. Again, the reason you can do that is because of his understanding and his football IQ. You can't do that with guys who maybe it doesn't all make sense to them, and then you're moving them around and distracting them from playing their one position they're really good at. Jamar's not that way at all. Jamar immediately understands the full picture of the full route concept, the formation, why we're doing things with him. And so it allows you to be more aggressive with how you want to use him because of his ability to take it all in and go execute it. And if he was struggling with that, we wouldn't do all this. You'd maybe do one or two things with him, but he has worked hard enough to put himself at all five positions. Maybe even quarterback, maybe six. Maybe we'll put him back there at some point. But he's just done a really good job with his approach and his understanding of what we're trying to achieve.
What led the decision to bring Tanner Hudson up to the active roster?
I just think it's a good addition. He's earned it. Okay, so just start with that. He had a really good offseason. He had a first good practice rep last year when he joined our practice squad. He did a one-on-one drill and he caught a fade ball and he got it into his attention. Okay, and so right away he set the tone with what he can bring to the table. And then he was on the practice squad, during the season and did a great job. I thought he had a great offseason, great summer, great training camp. Sometimes the roster just shakes out the way the roster shakes out, but he's continued to put his head down and work every single day in practice, makes plays on the scout teams, does a great job. He's done a great job inline blocking, does a good job route running. And so he's earned an opportunity to get up, And so it's more about maybe him than anything else, just earning that opportunity. And I think that's the right way to reward guys when it makes sense.
If he performs well, are there ways that you might try to reward him getting more involved in the offense, depending on how things go?
I think everybody that's up on the 53, we gotta do what's best for the team. And if that means using Tanner, using Irv, using Drew, using Mitch, however it is, that's what we're gonna do.
Now, why have you guys been so good at closing out games?
Oh man, you feel really good when we've had a lead. I think our confidence is really strong, and guys don't get careless and reckless. They really lock in on the details and the things that are important. And so I think if you look back on games that we've won and had leads on, the guys have really locked in, and that's a big part of doing it. There's no fear of failure. It's not like I don't feel coaches or players when you have a lead get tight and are worried about what could go wrong. There's none of that. It's just you got to go take what's there. And I kind of feel like that started in the Kansas City game a couple of years ago and won the division. And it's just our guys have just eaten it up and they want to go attack success. And so I think maybe that's why you feel that with the guys when you've got a lead on people.
Are there players, can you find players that are good at that, or is that something that has to happen when they get here?
I think it can be both. I think there's an intangible quality that guys have developed. Maybe that's from their high school. Maybe that's from their college they played at. Maybe that's in their DNA. Maybe that's another team that they experienced success with that we added. I think that's been a lot of ways when guys have walked in here. I also think there's guys that learn that as they experience it for the first time here, and maybe that's learning it from coaches or players or just the team success. They start to feel that, and they start to learn that's how it is, and it's contagious. It can permeate throughout the locker room and the coaching staff to where you start to feel that way. And the first time I ever felt that, I was in junior college at Butler County Community College. I joined a team that just won the national championship, and just going through an off-season program, just how they practiced, I learned what a winner looks like and feels like, and I feel that here. And so there is something to that, and that starts with culture. But it also is pretty helpful when you win games and get some momentum and guys start believing it that way.
Last bit of it, how much of that goes back to Joe Burrow? I mean,
Yeah.
just that belief that you're gonna win.
Yeah, you have to believe in your quarterback. You know, he's the guy that's touching the ball every single play. He's the one in the big moments that's going to have to step up and make plays, allow others to make plays as well. And so when you got a guy you believe in like that, that's got that magic to him, and he's got that history of winning. There's a belief on special teams that if we do our job, this guy's going to go lead us to victory. Our defense, man, if we can get the ball back or get a stop, this guy's gonna help us go score. And you hate to say this guy because it's more about just one guy, but I think we all understand that quarterback's a valuable position, and you got to believe in that guy.
I know cut down day is always tough, but you mentioned Tanner flashed right away when he got here. How tough was it to move on from him? You obviously got him back, but in the moment.
Yeah, not easy. Not easy. Not easy. Not every 53 man is easy. Fortunate the way the rosters are now, that you can get people on the practice squad and be able to elevate them. It makes it easier. So I think that's been a good thing. That's been really helpful in making those decisions. It helps all 32 teams, and it gives more guys opportunity to get up. So I think that's been really helpful these last couple of years.
What trade rumors have been breathless? The fact that you could go to Hudson, get a guy like Hudson, is that kind of, it seems to be kind of representing what you guys felt about your roster.
Yeah.
You get people building here
Right.
rather than.
I agree with that. I think the guys on our practice squad are all worthy of playing games for us. And over 5 years, you wouldn't always be able to say that. Sometimes there's just not enough guys around the league to feel that way about your whole practice squad. But just the way piece by piece, Duke's kind of added guys in the offseason at cut downs during the season, that you've built up this practice squad group that understand what their role could be. Again, they now know that they're a day away from being elevated and playing in a game and having a specific role, and so I feel really good about the depth of our entirety of our roster right now.
Lou was singing DJ Reader's praises a
Yeah.
while ago.
Yeah.
He's kind of under the radar greatness.
Yeah.
What is his value on the team, in the locker room, on the field, et cetera?
You can't appropriately put words on it. I think you just have to start with his championship DNA. Wherever he developed that, I don't know, but I felt it the moment he walked in the door here. So the standard that he holds himself to and everybody else to, he's not afraid to open his mouth if he sees something that's not going right and needs to be changed. That's a hard thing to do, and he's willing to do it. And I know I've always appreciated that, and that's why he's a captain, and that's why he's so well thought of in the locker room from our coaching staff and our players. And then when you get into a game, he is just a game wrecker. And again, it might not always show up in the statistics. It might have been the running back had to go somewhere else in the run play because the center got knocked back into another dimension. And there's not really statistics for that all the time. And then same thing, moving the pocket in the pass game. He gets a lot of hits on quarterbacks. And again, you watch him chasing down perimeter plays. He's not always making the play, but for a D tackle to be out on the perimeter, you see that from BJ too. But these guys out there on the perimeter, ready to make the play, had somebody missed a tackle. He's always out there, and so he's just one of the best to do it in this league, and we're fortunate to have him.
What has impressed you the most, if you can say that? Just one single factor about Iosivas.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. Confidence. I think his confidence, and so I think he's confident that when he goes in the game, he's going to be able to make a play if it comes his way. I know Troy and Brad have done a great job working with him, and so now it's he hasn't had the opportunity yet for the consistency part, but that's the big thing. That's where Trenton Irwin has gotten a lot of opportunities. Is you got so much trust. Trenton Irwin knows every position, and he's going to make the plays that come his way. So for these younger guys to continue to prove that, like Andrei, he hasn't really had the opportunity yet to play as many snaps in the game, to show us at all the different positions. We're fortunate because we have good depth to where we haven't had to force that on guys. But you continue to find a role for him. He scored touchdowns in the last two games. That's good. That gets everybody fired up about you, and you're making the opportunities that come your way. And there'll be more to come as the season goes, and whether he's the featured player in a play or not, he'll continue to have more opportunities and continue to be consistent.
What has he done in the red zone that's made him effective? Scramble drill. Yeah. I mean, those were the two that he had, with just understanding with the way we're built and the way our line is blocked and the way our quarterback can move, that the play's never dead. It's not all scheme plays down there in the red zone. A lot of them are just are dude plays. Guys are scrambling and finding opportunities. And when you watch the red zone touchdowns every week, there's a high percentage of them that are maybe not designed the way that you drew them up, the way they score. And our guys have done a good job recognizing that. Our quarterback really understands that too.